You have everything your ancestors would have killed for. Shelter, safety, food whenever you want it, information at your fingertips, entertainment on demand. You're living in one of the most comfortable moments in human history. And yet, something still feels unfinished. You wake up, go through the motions, achieve things, consume things, experience things. And at the end of the day, there's this quiet voice asking, what's the point? Not in a dramatic way, not despair, just a subtle flatness. A sense that something essential hasn't been touched. People talk about burnout, about drifting, about feeling like they're moving without direction. This isn't just a problem of stress or suffering, it's a question of meaning. And it's not new. For thousands of years, humans have been asking, what makes life meaningful? What's worth living for? What's worth suffering for? The answers have changed, radically. And today, with more freedom than ever, the question feels open again. So let's trace how we got here. Let's go back to when meaning wasn't a question. It was obvious. For most of human history, meaning wasn't something you found, it was something you inherited. You were born into a role, a family, a city, a cosmic order, and your job was to fulfill that role well. That was it. That was meaning. Aristotle gave this a name: telos. Purpose, function. Everything has a telos. A knife's telos is to cut, an eye's telos is to see, a human's telos, to reason well, to live virtuously, to flourish. You're not asking, what gives my life meaning? You're asking, am I fulfilling my function as a human being? And the answer comes from excellence, arete, being good at being human. This isn't about happiness, it's about living well, courageously, wisely, justly. Meaning came from being what you were designed to be. The Stoics took this further. You're part of a rational, ordered cosmos, the logos. Everything happens according to natural law. Your job isn't to fight it, it's to align with it. Accept your role, do your duty, control what you can control, let go of everything else. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, writing in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Meaning comes from accepting your place in the cosmic order and playing your part well. Notice what's missing in all of this? Choice. You didn't choose your role. You didn't invent your purpose. It was given to you by nature, by the cosmos, by society. Meaning was stable, fixed, unquestioned, and then it all collapsed. For over 1,000 years, Christianity did what the cosmos used to do. It gave meaning. If the ancients found meaning in cosmic order, medieval Europe found it in God. Your life has meaning because God created you, for a purpose, to know Him, to love Him, to serve Him. Suffering? Meaningful. It's part of God's plan. Death? Meaningful. It's a doorway to eternity. Your role in society? Meaningful. Everyone has a place in God's design. God unified everything. Morality, purpose, meaning. It all pointed to the divine. And then Nietzsche looked at 19th century Europe and saw something unsettling. God is dead. Not literally, culturally, psychologically. Science replaced miracles. Reason replaced revelation. People didn't stage rebellions against faith. They simply stopped believing. And Nietzsche realized, if God is dead, then the old foundations of meaning are dead too. Because God wasn't just a doctrine. God was the anchor, the horizon that made morality, purpose, and truth feel secure. Remove that horizon and everything begins to drift. Morality becomes interpretation, purpose becomes preference, meaning loses its guarantee. Nietzsche wasn't celebrating this, he was diagnosing it. God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. How shall we comfort ourselves, the murderers of all murderers? This isn't triumph, it's vertigo, because now we find ourselves exposed in a universe that offers no script, no built-in purpose, no final reassurance. Not necessarily despair, but disorientation, a dangerous moment, and maybe an inevitable one. And that disorientation has a name.
Nihilism. Nihilism isn't despair. It's not pain. It's the absence of meaning, the flatness, the sense that nothing you do actually matters. You could be good or bad, kind or cruel, ambitious or lazy. In 100 years, you'll be forgotten. In 1,000, humanity might be gone. In 1 billion, the sun will swallow the earth. So what's the point? Nihilism is the realization that the universe doesn't care. At all. There's no cosmic judge, no divine plan, no inherent purpose. Just atoms moving through space. And you, a brief arrangement of those atoms, temporarily conscious, soon to dissolve. Dostoevsky saw this coming. If God does not exist, everything is permitted. Not because immorality becomes okay, because nothing becomes okay. Nothing becomes not okay. Nothing matters. This is the crisis Nietzsche predicted, and we're living in it. You can feel it, can't you? The hollow productivity, the endless scrolling, the sense that even your achievements feel empty. Because if nothing matters, why are you doing any of this? But here's where it gets interesting.
Some philosophers looked at this abyss and said, okay, fine. Nothing has inherent meaning, so let's create meaning.
The existentialists didn't run from nihilism. They walked straight into it and came out the other side.
Jean-Paul Sartre said, there is no God, no cosmic purpose, no predetermined essence. You exist first, then you create what you are. Existence precedes essence. You're not here to fulfill a divine plan. There is no plan. You're radically free, and that freedom is terrifying, because it means you have to decide what matters, what to live for, who to become. No one can tell you, no scripture, no tradition, no authority. You are condemned to be free, condemned to choose. And every choice you make is creating the meaning of your life. This isn't comforting, it's crushing, because it means you're responsible for everything. But Sartre's contemporary and friend had a different take. Albert Camus looked at meaninglessness and laughed. Not cynically, defiantly. He called it the absurd. The clash between your need for meaning and the universe's total indifference. You want answers. The universe gives you silence. You want purpose. The universe gives you randomness. This is absurd, ridiculous, comically tragic. And Camus says, fine, embrace it. He tells the myth of Sisyphus, condemned by the gods to roll a boulder up a mountain, forever. It rolls back down. He walks down, rolls it up again, forever. Sounds like torture, right? Camus says, one must imagine Sisyphus happy. Why? Because Sisyphus accepts the absurdity. He doesn't need cosmic meaning. He doesn't need the gods' approval. He has his boulder, his effort, his rebellion against the meaninglessness. The act itself, the defiant commitment to keep going, that's the meaning. Meaning isn't found in the universe, it's created in the rebellion. You don't need the cosmos to care, you just need to care. This is freedom, terrifying, beautiful freedom. But there's one more voice, and it's the most powerful.
Viktor Frankl survived Auschwitz. watched his family die, lived through hell. And in that hell, he discovered something. The prisoners who survived weren't the strongest. They were the ones who had something to live for, a task unfinished, a person they loved, a future they wanted to see. Meaning, Frankl realized, isn't about happiness. It's about responsibility. Responsibility to someone, to something, beyond yourself. In his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he writes, "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. Meaning doesn't come from pleasure, or success, or comfort. It comes from the sense that your life matters to something beyond your own satisfaction. You have a responsibility, a task only you can fulfill. And here's the key, even suffering can be meaningful. If you're suffering for something, someone, some value you won't abandon." Frankl watched people in the camps choose how to face death, with dignity or despair, generosity or cruelty. Freedom, he said, isn't the absence of constraints. It's the space between stimulus and response, the ability to choose your attitude. Even when you can't control your circumstances, you can control your response. And that tiny space of choice is where meaning lives. Meaning is the answer to the question, what are you responsible for? So we've gone from cosmic order to divine plan, to radical freedom, to responsibility. And all of that brings us to now. We have more freedom than any generation in history, and more responsibility for what we do with it. You can be anything, do anything, choose any path, career, infinite options, but which one actually matters? Identity? Completely customizable. But who are you without a script? Relationships? Swipe until you find the one. But what anchors commitment? Beliefs? Mix and match. Spiritual, secular, both, neither. We were told, do what makes you happy, follow your passion, find yourself. But unlimited choice doesn't automatically create meaning. It creates pressure. What if you choose wrong? What if your passion fades? What if happiness isn't stable? The self-help industry offers answers through optimization, productivity, routines, constant improvement. But optimization isn't meaning. It's refinement, more efficiency, more output, more upgrades. And yet the deeper question remains. Because meaning isn't about maximizing pleasure or minimizing pain. It's about orientation, about what your life is pointed toward. And without shared frameworks, no cosmic order, no fixed roles, no unquestioned narratives, we're left with infinite choice and no clear map. So what is meaning? After ancient purpose, divine command, existential freedom, absurd defiance, responsible suffering, what remains? Meaning isn't a thing. It's not an object you discover. It's not a revelation that descends fully formed. It seems to emerge, slowly, when a life becomes oriented, when something matters more than comfort, more than convenience, more than endless possibility. Across history, different traditions pointed to this in different ways. The ancients believed meaning came from fulfilling a role within a larger order. Christianity located it in devotion to something transcendent. Sartre insisted we are radically free, condemned to choose. Camus reminded us that the universe offers no guarantees. Frankl saw meaning arise in responsibility, even in suffering. They disagreed about metaphysics, but they converge on something quieter. Meaning does not appear in infinite openness. It appears when freedom narrows. When a person stops trying to keep every possibility alive. When depth replaces breadth. Every commitment closes doors. Every choice eliminates other versions of a life. And yet, without that narrowing, nothing fully takes shape. It's worth noting something else. In recent years, research has suggested that people who participate in religious life, who believe in God, who belong to faith communities, often report higher levels of meaning and psychological stability. That doesn't prove God exists, but it does suggest something important. Belief provides structure. It situates the individual inside a larger story. It answers the question of what matters before the individual has to construct the answer alone. And when that structure disappears, the burden shifts entirely onto the self. For some, that freedom is liberating. For others, it's destabilizing. Which raises an uncomfortable possibility. Perhaps the question isn't simply whether God is true, but whether human beings are built to live without transcendence, and whether meaning, in the end, requires some horizon beyond the self, even if we disagree about what that horizon is. Pleasure can exist without meaning. Success can exist without meaning. Even happiness can exist without meaning. Because meaning is less about feeling good and more about what a life is pointed toward. Not the absence of suffering, but the presence of something worth enduring it for.
Every era tried to answer, what is meaning? The ancients, your role in the cosmic order. Christianity, God's plan for your soul. Nietzsche, nothing, and we have to face that. Sartre, whatever you create through radical freedom. Camus, defiant rebellion against meaninglessness. Frankl, responsibility to something beyond yourself. They're all pointing at the same tension. Meaning isn't something that passively falls into your lap. It demands response, commitment, alignment, through values, through sacrifice, through the people and causes you refuse to abandon. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Meaning requires sacrifice. You can't be everything. Do everything. Keep all your options open. You have to choose, and live with that choice, and keep choosing it, even when it's hard. The question isn't, what is meaning? The question is, what are you willing to live for? And what are you willing to suffer for? Because the answer to that question, the thing you won't abandon, won't betray, won't let go of even when it costs you, that's your meaning. And the beautiful, terrible thing? Whether you believe it's discovered or created, you still have to choose it, every day. No system can live it for you. No tradition can automate it. No algorithm can optimize it. Just you, choosing, committing, building a life around what you refuse to lose. So stop asking what meaning is, and start asking, what am I orienting my life toward?